Welcome to Kyle Anthony's UFC betting show. I am Kyle Anthony, and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the bet review show for UFC 244, Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz. We're going to talk about 3 free plays that we discussed on our prediction show. You want to take a look at what I discussed prior to the fight. I'll put a link up in the up in here in the video and take a look. You want to get the entire breakdown. Going to go over the plays now for you. Fun night of fights overall, and you know the Gregor getting knocked out was incredible by Kevin Lee. Also, the main event was very good, but just a little too early, I felt like, on that cut. You've seen Nate Diaz even when he was fighting against Pettis. You saw that actually even there too. He had a lot of cuts going on. Still pushed forward. Still was able to finish the fight. You know, being the BMF title, that puts a little bit of damper on it, but a great showing overall for Masvidal. So we went 2-1 on our bets for this card. Let's talk about it first. The first one to talk about is the one between Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Vicente Luque. We did cash in on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at -138. And the thing that we liked here, again, I'm not going to dive into it completely, but we like the fact that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is going to be moving around a lot. He is always on his bike. He's always good with his angles. He's good at countering. He's good at working those combinations from the outside, working the leg kicks, very creative with his striking. And Luque on the other side, extremely durable, great boxing, has that pressure, has power to knock you out. But my big thing here was just going to be the situation where Luque has just not faced anybody like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, where Thompson has faced elite guys over his entire career. You know, Luque has had some really, close fights. One of them was against Brian Barberena, and I talked about that, where Barberena, very straightforward, kind of very hittable guy. Same thing even with Mike Perry he fought. It was, Perry, good boxing, but really a one and done kind of puncher. Doesn't really do much with combinations or being creative. And going against Wonderboy, that was going to be a big thing why I liked Wonderboy. And the price was great, -138. To me, it was a great price for this. Luque had a lot going on where he has really run through a lot of wins, some big knockouts, but it was just a competition level. In this fight here, that first round, you definitely saw that Luque was getting that pressure going, and it did cause a little bit of problems for Thompson, but he was able to really continue to counter, and he was waiting for it, getting that straight left, being able to kind of switch his stances, making Luque really look a little bit uncomfortable in spots. And throughout that fight, you saw he just was really getting into his flow, moving forward. I'm sorry, not moving forward. Luque was moving forward. He was still able to have good movement, and that was very tough. And you've heard so many people, so many other fighters say it is extremely tough to really cut the cage off against Thompson because he's consistently bouncing around. And a guy that's like that, with also the great striking that he's got, he was able to really go out there and pick Luque apart. And slowly through that fight, you saw him really continuing to gain confidence. And the way that he was able to work overall, dropping Luque twice late in that fight, he really looked great. I thought that Thompson, we talked about it. I thought this would be more on the easier side for Thompson, just the way that stylistically this one was matching up. So for me here, we were able to cash in on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at -138. A nice showing for him overall. Luque, you know what? I know I did see a lot of you guys that were on Luque, and I can't blame you because of what Thompson was going through. He's has lost some big fights and against that competition level, but I really liked what I saw from Thompson. Thompson gets us to cash in at -138. The other fight that we did win was Derrick Lewis to defeat Bluego Ivanoff. We had Derrick Lewis at +105. We were able to cash in on that as well, on a slight plus money on him. And this fight here, I know a lot of people say they don't like to bet the heavyweights because one punch can end it all. And I feel like I've really been finding a nice groove with some of these heavyweight fights. But this one here, there were some sloppy moments in this fight. There's no doubt about that. But big thing for me here was, once again, Ivanoff and what Lewis can do. Now, Lewis has the big punch. He did look sloppy in spots, but he's got the big punch. And again, the competition level was so much further than what Ivanoff had faced. Although I thought Ivanoff fought very well in this fight, really looking at it where, again, the people that he's fought, he lost, was completely pieced up against Junior Dos Santos, lost a close fight against Ben Rothwell, who Ben Rothwell is really at the end of his career, and he's talked about retirement and even how bad Rothwell looked. I still thought he beat Ivanoff in that fight. And then tied Tuivasa, Ivanoff did get that win. But Tuivasa, again, just completely downgrading the way that he's really fighting. And then his fight with these two, I mean, really that first round I thought was interesting because Ivanoff was able to get him down pretty quickly and get that side control. And right when I saw that, I said, this fight is a big, big difference for getting Lewis down. Lewis has been susceptible to being taken down, but also, you know, we're talking about Cormier. We're talking about some of the higher level guys that he has shown that he can't get out of that. And even in those tough spots, I don't even know how Lewis was able to just bounce up. He really was able to, and throughout the fight, he was in some bad spots on the ground, and Ivanoff wasn't able to get a lot of the damage down there. Once he was down there, he was able to get him down there. I know he's got a sambo background, was able to get Lewis to the ground, but Lewis would bounce up and then throw a big flurry of shots, which would almost take away from what Ivanoff just did. And he kind of did that throughout the fight, landed some big shots. Into that second round, you saw that he was still moving forward, landing some big shots. Ivanoff was trying to keep the pressure on and not allow the boxing to really stand toe-to-toe and trade with him. I thought it was a good strategy overall for Ivanoff to not have to really worry about that. I think, or not to do that, not to say, hey, I'm going to stand and just trade back and forth. Because again, Ivanoff is a guy who will take one to give one, but against Lewis, who's got so much power, that's not going to be a great strategy. So we did have a nice strategy, keeping it in close, trying to get the takedowns. But a sloppy fight throughout, but overall the big damage and who was wearing it worse overall was Ivanoff. Ivanoff was taking some big shots. He's got a granite chin. I don't even understand how he was able to take some of those big shots. Lewis was landing some flush shots, was able to cause most of the damage throughout that fight. So Lewis goes out there and gets the decision victory for us to cash in again at a -105. We're able to get that victory. And the one that we did not win was Kelvin Gastelum versus Darren Till. It was a split decision, and we just missed it by one judge to have a nice clean sweep of 3-0. But the odd part about this is I do not agree with what the judges said. Now, the reason being is, and I'm going to go over that, is now when you take a look at these two, my big thing here was really going to be the fact that, you know, Till, moving up in weight, yes, very hittable kind of guy. He actually is very lackadaisical with his striking defense. And Gastelum just fought a tough Israel Adesanya, who is a world beater at this point, and he fought him tough. I mean, yes, you know, Israel did get that victory, and it was a clean victory when you go to decisions. But a guy with all those weapons, I just didn't think that Till was going to be able to do it. Now, going into this fight, Till fought, I thought he fought excellent. I mean, it was really, and I did not like at all what I was seeing from Kelvin. Kelvin was very gun-shy early in that fight, and it was a lot of the leg kicks. And that was one thing that I was not really looking at as much when I was taking a look at this fight. I thought that it was going to be more, Till was going to be more, you know, gun-shy. And actually, they did talk about that Till was, before walking out, almost wanted to fake an injury, which is pretty crazy. It just shows, you know, what goes into these fights and what goes into these fighters' minds where, you know, they got to push through that, and then he goes there and gets the victory. Kind of crazy there. But Till was able to go out there, land some big leg kicks, and he did that throughout. And that really, I think, took Kelvin out of his comfort zone. He got in close a couple times, was trying to smother Till, and then able to work those big combinations, work those big hooks. But really, I liked the movement of Till, and the more he moved, really all that Gastelum did was kind of follow him around the cage. He really didn't have an opportunity to just stand toe-to-toe, look for the big shot. Till did a great job staying around, moving around, and the first round was I would give it to Till. Second round, I was giving to Till. And then the third round was kind of, you know, whatever. Overall, I had it at a clear 2 rounds to 1 for Till. I did not think it was. When I heard split decision, thought maybe I had a chance there. But, I mean, you've got some crazy scoring here. You've got somebody who has, you know, one of the judges had 30-27 for Gastelum. I think that's astronomically way off. I couldn't even believe it. I mean, anywhere going 29-28, you know, I could see some of that, but I thought it was a clear victory for Darren Till. Gastelum, though, again, the big we liked about him was going to be that pressure and going to be able to see if he can get the chin of Till, and Till fought great. cannot blame anybody who did bet Till there, because you know what? I was on Gastelum there. I felt good about it. Thought it was a great spot at a minus 170. It actually kept pumping up. You know, the market was really pumping that up over the minus 200. So the money was really pouring in on him. A lot of people felt the way I felt, but we did not get that victory on Kelvin Gastelum. So there you have it. My 3 free plays. We had a winner for Wonderboy Thompson at minus 138. We had a winner with Derrick Lewis at plus 105, and a loser against Kelvin Gastelum with Kelvin Gastelum at minus 170. Those are my free plays. Let me know what you guys think, what you overall did. Did you tail some of these? How did you bet overall? Love to hear from you guys. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you've not yet done so. Again, I'm still here. You know, it's going to take a while before I get back into my bar area and all the renovations are done. But bear with me, and we will take it to the next event. So I will see you then. And this is Kyle Anthony's UFC betting show, and I'll see you at the next prediction show.